Welcome to a video tutorial by Victory Ministries. Today I'll be showing you how to set up your encoder SAM broadcaster. The first thing we need to do is bring up your version of SAM, and it should look something similar to this. Now I don't know how the different versions work. I know SAM 2 and SAM 4 work pretty much the same when it comes to the encoders. So just please bear with me. I'm doing the best I can at presenting this video. The next thing you're going to need is a document from your server administrator or your station manager or executive that has these three vital pieces of information. The first is the server IP, the second is port number, and last is the password. Now, if you don't have any of these three, you cannot set up an encoder that'll work. So make sure that your document has these three pieces of information. Next, you bring up your SAM encoder, as you see I already done. I go to the plus sign here. You can go this way, what's called commonly known as a notepad, and you can see your controls here. But I choose to do it this way. I click on the plus sign like that, and this dialog box pops up. It says select plugin. The choice of plugins are WMA, MP3 Normal, AAC Plus version 2, Legacy MP3, which is ACM codecs, OGG files, which is, it says Vorbis, but that's a Linux file extension for Linux audio. And then you have MP3 Pro, which is a different quality from the MP3 Normal. Today in the video, for all practical purposes, we're going to use MP3 Normal. Especially if you're with Victory in Jesus Radio, this is what we're going to be using right here. After you select your plugin, you click OK. This dialog screen appears, which says MP3 Normal, encoder, and streamer configuration. Now, we're going to go, we have three tabs that you see. We're going to go one at a time. And I'm going to do this as slowly as I possibly can. You can pause the video, restart the video at any time until you understand exactly what I'm presenting here. The first thing is the quality. This is output format settings. Now we want to go to the quality. By default, SAM has fast resampling. What we want is high quality. Okay? Again, this information here is mainly for Victory in Jesus Radio Godcasters. Next is the format. What we want is 128 kilobits per second at 44.1 kilohertz per second bit rate, but it has to be stereo, because you don't want to stream something mono. That's kind of a weird sound. Sounds like a tin can to me. But we'll go down. You're past up now. We're in stereo. We got to find 128, and be patient because I'm trying to do this slow enough so you can get the gist of what's going on. Now, right here is 128 kilobits per second at 44.1 kilohertz stereo. You left click there, and this appears, as you see here in this output box. Now it tells you here your information: codec, MP3 Normal, bit rate 128 kilobits per second. That's 16 kilobytes. So it's a breakdown deal here per second. Sample rate is 44.1 kilohertz. The channel, stereo. Now by default, this box is checked. I highly recommend that you uncheck it if you're going to use the manual mode of streaming, because if you don't, this is going to try to reconnect to the auto and it'll interfere with you. Now, allow scripts and stream. I don't know really what this is about. Some kind of scripting program that you can do with SAM. I'll leave it unchecked. Then you go up to the top here where it says server details on the tab. You left click it. Now we want to get a server type. Now Victory in Jesus Radio uses Shoutcast, but if you happen to be using Live 365 or Icecast, you'll tick one of these boxes. This one here, the no server, I think that this is about direct streaming radio through your own IP at home or a business. But we're not going to deal with this. We're dealing mainly with these three here. Okay, As you can see, by default, Shoutcast radio button is ticked. We'll leave it like that. You get your information here. Oops, my bad. I'm using Windows 7. I'm still learning about the Windows and stuff in it. But as you can see, it's server details. It says server IP. What we want, now I'm going to use the backspace button. I highlight it, backspace it, and make it empty. So I go over here to my IP address, and I highlight it, right click, and I copy. Then I go to this box, make sure that I see a blinking cursor in it. I right click, and I paste. I pasted the IP address in here. Next is going to be the server port. Now highlight and backspace there to make that empty. I go over here and I highlight just the number and I copy it. I want to make sure it's just the number and not the entire thing that has port on here, because that's not part of the port number. It's just the number itself. Then I go to port server, left click, make sure the cursor is blinking, then I right click and I paste. This is very simple. So if anybody tries to tell you something different, it sounds complicated, they're probably telling you amiss. Now, I do the same thing with the password. I highlight it, backspace it, and make it empty. Then I go over here and I choose this one is the pseudo password that I'm going to use for this tutorial. And I right click here and paste it in. Boom, it's in there. Now we go over here to station details. Station name. For Victory in Jesus Radio, we recommend that you put the DJ name first, which would be DJ test, hyphen the call letters, or the call sign, which is KVIJ, hyphen Victory. Oh, misspelled it. Excuse my typos. And you type in the station name like that. Okay, so notice I have DJ test hyphen the call sign, which is KVIJ hyphen Victory in Jesus Radio typed out. Check your spelling before you actually save this, because we don't want the wrong misspelled words and stuff coming over your media player. Okay, along with this, I'm going to have to show you another configuration in this video that goes with this one. Owner and executive, I guess you'd call her the executive officer of Victory in Jesus Radio, reminded me to show you all this. Now, the genre, it's not genre, it's pronounced genre. And when we go to here, its default says various. Okay, well, Victory in Jesus Radio is Christian. Now, you have gospel, you can choose that, but I prefer to go to Christian, because gospel is a form of Christian music. It's a style, or a genre, as they put it. So I choose Christian. You can have gospel in there. It's a matter of preference. Okay. Now I go over here, and it has, you notice, audiorealm.com for our website URL. We're going to change this, if you're with Victory in Jesus Radio, and put in without that www, because all that is a signifier tag to go to World Wide Web. Well, HTTP does the same thing. Unless your domain name is registered with www in it, I wouldn't use it. It's less typing, it's easier to remember. Then I type in the website for Victory in Jesus, which is victoryinjesusradio.org. Okay, just like that. Okay, now these here, after you get that done, you're going to see AIM, ICQ number, IRC channel. In the AIM or ICQ, you could put, like in one, you can have your email address, and the other a phone number. Or you could put a website URL in one. I highly recommend not to put your phone numbers or personal email addresses in these unless you just don't care. Because everybody that has access to the website where the radio is streaming on the player, some players do show these. And if that's being shown, then you're opening up your sensitive personal information to the public. With me, I leave these both NA. I don't put anything in there because I don't want my personal information. Now, I may from time to time put a website in here, and for this tutorial I put the Victory in Jesus Radio one, just to show you an example. Okay, I got that in there now. We always want to leave this one. These are both checked by default. This one says list on public station listing recommended. Leave that checked. And this one says enable title streaming. This is your title it's streaming, as well as titles of the songs. So we want to leave that in. You want to have that enabled. This $ combined $ is a code for SAM Broadcaster. I don't know what it means. If you want to know, go get a SAM Broadcaster manual and go to this section or chapter and study it out, and you'll understand it. But I'll leave that there because you need it for doing what we're doing now. Once you have all this done on this tab, then go to the next tab, Stream Archive tab. Now the Stream Archive tab allows you to check this box that says Save Stream to File. What that does is record your show to your hard drive on your desktop or laptop computers. Now, I stress, this is only if you want to record your show. It's a nice feature to have, but I don't use it unless I get a lot of requests wanting my show from my friends, and I put it on FTP, upload it, that way they can download it. Okay, once you got this stuff is done, we're going to click OK. There's your encoder. Now, before we start the encoder, let's go to config here on the SAM Broadcaster, open it up. We're going to go to station details. Now, as you can see on mine, I have Resurrection Day Radio, okay, because that's my station. That's one that I use. Under description, I put 24/7 Christian music. Okay, that's the description. The website, if I have one for it, I put it in here. I don't personally have a website for the radio station yet that I have. Now you have 3 genre listings here. I put Christian and gospel because I do both types of music, the gospel and the Christian. And the gospel is like some of the old hymn music and things like that. The Christian is a mixture of contemporary, worship, praise, things like that. Also, I do talk, you know, like sermons, teachings, and stuff like that. That's just what I do with my station. Down here I can put my email address, I can put my AOL Instant Messenger, or my ICQ number if I use ICQ as a chat. But I don't use either one of these. I make sure it says this box is checked. It says show station details on audiorealm.com. Make sure that's checked if you're on audiorealm.com. If not, I'm pretty sure I can uncheck that and it'll go to my website. But for now, what I'm doing is just I'm making sure that my station details are normal. This box here where it says 0 dash, you got to have a password. See? So you don't want to use that. Don't want to try change anything. Just leave it like it is. Once this is done, then you click OK. Now to start the encoder, I personally like to right click. I highlight and right click the encoder I want like this. Left click on the encoder I want, which is number 3. And as you can see, this menu, when I right click, pops out. It's a drop down menu. I got new, config, delete, start, and all this. I click start. Now if the encoder is correct, it'll start a stream. This one is a pseudo encoder and it doesn't. And it errors out at 11,000. Okay? It doesn't give me the full. If you want to see the full code, you can take the box and do like that, and it says 11,004. Okay, error code. Now I go up here. Here's a stop button. Here's a start button. I'll click stop. See, I can also start it this way. Instead of having to right click on it, I can go up here and click start, and it's connecting, as you can see. And of course, we know it's not going to connect. Okay, I've shown you everything you need to get your encoder set up correctly. If you're with Victory Jesus Radio, all you Godcasters, remember that you can watch this video anytime you forget. This way you can empower yourself through the videos. There'll be more tutorial videos coming up as time progresses. But for now, This is a Sam Broadcaster encoding video for Victory in Jesus Radio. I hope this helps everybody that watches it. God bless each one of you richly and more abundantly today and every day forever. Amen. Thank you for watching.